Hi, today we've got Steve Desborough from Viridian Nutrition here. Steve
Hello.
is a technical manager there and he's just like a whole fountain of information. Today I'd like to share some of his knowledge. One of our products that we sell a lot of is the Viridian Quercetin Plus Complex, but it'd be just great to hear it from the top about how and why it works so well. So over to you, Steve.
Okay. Quercetin's quite interesting. Quercetin is a bioflavonoid, and bioflavonoids are found in all fruit and vegetables, so they're responsible for their colour, their texture, even their smell. And normally with bioflavonoids they occur as a group as a family, but quercetin is an individual or an isolated bioflavonoid, and occurs in certain food groups. It's found quite a lot in what we call the brassica family, so you might find it in vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and also in onions, but unfortunately in the brown skin of onions, which is the part that we don't eat.
Okay.
And also to bear in mind that you need to consume huge amounts of those groups of vegetables to get the right quantity of quercetin. But what they've shown in studies and trials is that quercetin exerts an anti-inflammatory, anti-allergic, and also an antioxidant response to those individuals that use it, and so it seems to work extremely well in hay fever.
I know we sell it every year. More and more people are coming in for
Okay.
quercetin. So
And so it's a kind of natural version of an antihistamine, so but doesn't have the side effects of an antihistamine. So what it will do, it degranulates histamine. So basically there's inflammatory markers in the body that is produced when we have a histamine attack, and so really quercetin does help to kind of reduce those inflammatory pathways, if you like. But it goes a step further than that, because it's also got collagen or tissue stabilizing effects. And so when people do have a hay fever response, sometimes the nasal tissues get very inflamed in the esophageal area. And so what it does, it actually helps to kind of stabilize those areas. So it's much more than a normal histamine.
because a lot of people come in, they're completely swollen
Absolutely,
around here, and they're always
absolutely.
looking for something. So
You know, and the nosebleeds and all of those kind of responses really. So quercetin's very specific at reducing that. And also bearing in mind that this is a complex, it isn't just a single nutrient. And so we've put it with another compound called bromelain, which is from the stem of the pineapple. So it's a proteolytic enzyme, and kind of coming back to the allergy thing, a lot of allergies are actually caused by proteins. So when people have a peanut allergy, they actually react rather to the protein that's in the peanut. So the idea is that if you can break down the protein, you're reducing the allergic response. So that's why we have the bromelain in there. And then we also have vitamin C in this formula, because vitamin C detoxifies histamine. So normally when you have an allergic reaction, histamine levels are quite high, so you're always on the verge of another attack. So the idea is if you can kind of detoxify it, you're reducing that reaction. But we also have some other herbs in here. We have chamomile in here, which kind of can help with healing of the skin or the tissue, because also in allergic reactions, particularly hay fever, also the lining or the nasal cavity becomes inflamed, and so people are very prone to nosebleeds, or just kind of very, very irritated, and it's also makes that area very fragile. So what you want to do is actually to help heal that skin and reduce the inflammation in that area.
tell me about the B5, because I know B5 is, we sell a lot of that. So.
Right, okay, well B5 is quite interesting, part of the B vitamin group. So B vitamin's water soluble, which means that you need to take them on a daily basis and they don't store. So, and also B vitamins are really affected by other factors. So if you're having like lots of stimulants like tea, coffee, alcohol, very refined carbohydrate diet, sugar, it will create that need for more B vitamins. And so B5 particularly, also known as pantothenic acid, is kind of the major energy producing B vitamin, and what it does, it serves the adrenal cortex, so things like cortisol production. So
it's good for stress and things
yeah,
like that.
absolutely. And it's quite interesting because B vitamins, as they're water soluble, they work as a group, but B5 is the only B vitamin that you can take solely on its own because it doesn't displace the other B vitamins in the group. And you can take very high amounts of it. You know, research indicates that B5 is very, very safe to take in very high doses. And as a company, we try to come back to basics because when we're looking at inflammatory disorders, there are new things on the market. But you know, B5 has always been a kind of a steadfast nutrient, particularly in areas of inflammation like arthritis.
Right,
so
okay.
we've tried to kind of put that a lot into more of our formulas, really, because it's such an essential nutrient.
So how quickly would you expect this to work for somebody coming in with hay fever? Or
I've had quite interesting experiences with quercetin. You know, someone who's got quite a severe allergic reaction, and we're not talking about anaphylaxis here. I think when it's an anaphylactic response, you know, I think those people know it and take necessary precautions. But you know, I've had individual cases where someone's had a quite bad hay fever where maybe there's some swelling in the facial area, that have actually used quercetin, and it's actually reduced it within 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, that's amazing.
But it's very dose dependent, and so recommended dose levels between 1 to 3, but in very extreme cases I have recommended more.
Right. And is there any contraindications? Or?
Quercetin seems to be quite safe, so I'm quite happy to recommend it for most people that may be on different medications. I think if it's a child, you may need to be, from a legal perspective, I think children under the age of 12, just be a kind of bit more cautious, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Right then, thank you.
Thank you.